there was only ever one first pick here to discuss. And that is that Victor Wembanyama is only 64 games played away from winning MVP because he's already got one. And that one was, I think, so he scored 40 points. He didn't shoot a bunch of threes. He got to the line a lot. Had some great, had a handful of blocks. I think it was 3 double-digit, might have got 15 boards. And as I'm hearing the numbers that I'm saying, what I want to convey to you is that they kind of make it seem like that's all he did. And those numbers are nuts. They don't come close to capturing what the experience of watching that season opener for San Antonio really was, because Wemby did 8-10 things that are unthinkable, just like physical feats that we've never seen. Like, let me ask you, what do you think, or what got you off the couch? What like made you giggle? Like, what was the thing that he did that was the the thing you'll take away from that game is like you're telling someone about what Wemby did against Dallas in the opener? Is there a single play that stands out? Because I have trouble narrowing it down from like a half dozen.
So it's definitely tough to narrow it down, but it has to be he swallows Derek Lively's shot at one end, comes up the floor, and then just hits this crossover step back 3 over, not even over Derek Lively, because he had kind of shook him by that point. He was still inside the arc and closing out from there while Wemby was like already getting off his release. And that was just, it was a moment in a long line of many moments where you just felt like it's over. This is just, what are we supposed to do? And it was also, just to add on to what you were saying, you and I, we put Wemby in our preseason MVP discussion. We both, I don't remember where we had him exactly, but we both had him in the top 5 of our ballot. It made me start to think that we overthought the Spurs to where we were wondering, oh, is this really a team that could be above 500 a bunch? And I still think you look at a team like Denver, you look at a team like OKC, you look at a team like Houston, maybe even Minnesota. Can they hang with them? But this idea that maybe they won't be a top 6 team in the West if Wemby is going to play like that. They played like that, Grant, and have yet to incorporate De'Aaron Fox, who is only going to juice the shooting might be a question, but the speed at which they're playing, almost 30% of their points came in transition. One game. But this is the thing. Is Wemby going to win MVP? Is he the best player in the league? And just how good are the Spurs going to be because of it?
Here's what I would add. One, yes, we did, like, there's a very simple way to evaluate the Spurs, and that is to say, if Wemby is this, then they are winning 55 games, period, as a floor. The plays that, this is how nuts that game was. I forgot about that play. And as you mentioned, the Derek Lively, like, just an inhalation block that led to a transition score, I definitely did, like, gasp when he did that. So the other couple that stand out to me, the driving reverse baseline dunk where his feet are clearly on the floor as he is touching the rim, finishing that play, was like, it was like Vince Carter against the Pacers 25 years ago, but the opposite direction. And Wemby was standing as he reverse dunked. Don't see that all the time. There was another play where he gave 2 hard dribbles and moved Anthony Davis backwards, just like a totally different brand of dominance where he's just going to be physical, which was hinted at a little bit in the preseason, but I was down on some of his preseason offense because I thought he was just taking it to trouble and didn't know what to do. He just bullied Anthony Davis for a baby hook. Like, if that's on the table, there's a million reactions of like, what do you do with this guy? Which answer, I don't know, because here's the other thing. What team in theory is better equipped to give Wembanyama problems than Dallas, whose whole deal is Anthony Davis is a 4. We have a legitimate 5 in Derek Lively who can move his feet. Cooper Flagg's lurking around. Like, if anyone is going to slow him down, it's a team like that. Now, the Houston games will be fascinating too, because you can't bully Steven Adams, for example, and Amen Thompson's going to make things difficult. But like, in terms of the opponent, even like that shouldn't have happened. So I don't know. It's impossible to be like too hyperbolic, in my opinion. Oh, before I forget, I know I'm rambling, but like this is what happens when Wembanyama does stuff like this. If he's gonna get the Giannis, like that's 3 steps, bro, but it's never a travel. If he's going to get that kind of benefit of the doubt, which he did at least twice against Dallas, late gather, whatever you want to call it, the late gather, he can't be guarded because his steps are even longer than Giannis's and he's a better ball handler. It's just like, if he's going to get that leeway on top of all these other just genetic advantages that he has, it's a wrap. He's gonna win MVP. He's 64 more games. I'll end where I started. If he does anything like this and meets the games requirement, you can't give MVP to anybody else because the offense was like the most shocking part. We haven't even talked about his defense other than one block, and he was like, I don't know. Maybe we need to move on, but we're also not going to go as long on all this other stuff.
Well, I want to ask you if this is Victor Wembanyama's default, then the stat line won't stay the same the entire time.
Right.
Like, even looking at the things he's able to do offensively, I mean, one, are we sure he's not 7'8"?
No.
This is like the right, okay. Because now he's listed at, he went from what, 7'3" to 7'5", and they've like listed him at 7'4" now, and so he looks at least 7.5 feet, and that might even like just what maybe it's because he makes everyone look so puny. But the handle, Grant, you're talking about him moving Anthony Davis. Not only is he stronger, I don't think the handle's ever going to be. He's never going to have a Kyrie or a Steph handle, but he might as well. Like relative to his size, like what he's doing right now, like it just looks tighter, more fluid. How? I have 2 questions. You did say that isn't Dallas supposed to be the team that would be able to frustrate him? And I would say maybe, but they're not. Do you look at their individual defenders and think, oh, like this is someone who should really frustrate Wembanyama? Or is there like, I'm going to ask you, what is the team that you think is most suited or has the player or players most suited to make Wemby look, I'll say, mortal?
Well, we're
semi-mortal.
Just theoretically, like Anthony Davis is not that far. He's not this guy anymore, but we're not that far removed from when he was the guy you'd say as an anchor to a playoff defense, he's my number 1 pick because he could shut the rim off and he could move in space. And he's bigger and he's stronger, I thought, than Wembanyama. Still probably is. Derek Lively is one of the most mobile bigs in the league, can defend the rim. Dallas is huge just collectively. So, like, I don't know, overall, that's to answer your question, like, Dallas is kind of on the very short list of teams I would have thought, well, it's going to be harder tonight for Wemby than against most teams. At least offensively. Defensively, I think it plays very much into his hands because, like, just nobody's bigger and quicker than him on that team. So, yeah, I mentioned Houston. I'm trying to think who else would even...
Do you think... I know they're small, but does OKC have the guys?
Maybe as a good luck dribbling against us kind of proposition. And like Chet definitely is up for it. Like I think that's a budding rivalry that I'm very excited to see the next time they meet. But yeah, Dallas was very high on my list of this is going to be a team that will make things difficult for him. I do want to talk about the defensive side. Just silly blocks aside, I think one of the things that we don't appreciate enough about Wemby's defense, which is an insane thing to say because everybody's over the moon about it. But like one of the things every offense wants now are paint touches because of what paint touches create. Kickouts, start the blender. Everybody says, get the rotations going, make a mistake happen, find an open shooter, drive, like just start that whole process. If Wembanyama devalues paint touches because when he's around, you saw this against Dallas over and over again. Guys would see him, they'd get into the paint, they'd kick it to a shooter, and that shooter would be guarded because none of the Spurs' other defenders are moving off their guys because they don't have to because Wembanyama has the paint covered. He's just deterring guys from getting in there and doing anything because they're afraid to put the ball up. And he's also making it so everybody else can just stay home. Because why would you dig down on a driver or a post-up threat when Wembanyama's around? You just don't have to. So, like, the thing every offense wants to accomplish is now worth almost nothing because he's there. Like, whether he blocks the shot or not, it's just so, like, what's plan B? Whatever it is, it's not going to give you as high of an expected value as paint touches do against literally any other defender. So he's just, like, short-circuited the most valuable thing offenses want to do by existing, by just standing there. So, I mean, like, and that's not going to show up in stats other than maybe like we'll see some incredible dip in opponent at rim field goal attempt rate when he's in the game. But like the blocks aren't going to cover it. They won't show the impact because it's a cliche, but it is very much the shots he prevents from even being taken. And it's just at a level with him that I can't remember ever seeing.
And I think what complicates all of that to make it macro about the Spurs, Steph Castle is a monster. And then already the Cornet Wemby minutes seem like they might be insane. And so you're going to be like, imagine the idea of Wemby just being able to roam even more than he can already because Luke Cornet is on the floor. That's horrifying if you're an opposing offense. So I will throw this. We spent too much time on Wemby, but I have to ask this question because I think it assigns a value to this quote-unquote overreaction. Is Victor Wembanyama going to be the best player in the NBA by the end of this season? Are you ready to put him over? There's Jokic, there's SGA. Not at this moment. I'm saying by the end of the season, but there's Luka, there's Giannis. You could throw maybe another name or two in there.
We've seen one game. He has been better in that one game than anybody else has been this year, and SGA has a 55-point game on the season. So I think there's a case to be made that this is an overreaction. This is what we're here to do. He's the best player in the league right now, today. Like through if this is what he is, and we're overreacting, he's the best player in the league. It's everybody else is playing for second at the moment because you can't tell me there's a single other performance to date this season that has touched what he did against Dallas. It's not close.
I agree based off what we've seen so far. I think in the grand scheme, I'll hedge. I'll take your job and hedge here.
Great.
I view him as just if anyone is going to enter the SGA Jokic conversation over this larger portion of the schedule, it is him. And I don't know that there's anyone else who has the power to do it. Not at this moment. Not Giannis. Not Luka. Who might even maybe some people want to throw Anthony Edwards in there. I don't think that's just not going to cut it. He is absolutely insane.